at this time of transition? And what is the purpose for having a choice of going on to another realm or wherever we're going and not coming back here? Is it because of the cataclysmic events that are coming?
The cataclysmic events will not harm you if you are an ascended being on the earth, for you can instantaneously beam to an area of safety.
Right.
The purpose in your coming here was in large measure to assist humanity in evolvement, but it was also to assist yourselves. It was also to enhance your own growth, you see. So it is perfectly acceptable for you to take your earth sojourn as a growth experience, to know that you have done some good here, and to move on and to attain your liberation. There is no criticism if you choose this. So you are undoubtedly feeling a strong desire to return, and this is appropriate for you. But there are other reasons why beings have chosen starseeds to come here. That is a large part of it, but being here on the earth has enhanced your spiritual growth and progress many, many times. Despite what you may have experienced or feel that you have experienced here, the density that you have encountered, the end result of your leaving here as an ascended being will be that it has served you. And so you see, it is appropriate if one chooses to simply return to a spiritual aspect, because the time that they have been here on the earth, they have been doing service. It is not that you have done nothing up until the point where you have ascended. You have all done a great deal in many lifetimes and in this lifetime to assist others and to share love and to work upon the evolvement. So some may feel that their work is done, and others may feel that they would like to have one last shot at doing what they can do. So it is not necessarily a selfish choice to leave, to not come back. There are some who have wearied themselves to quite an extent by being here and doing a great deal of service. It may be appropriate for them to let others carry on from here. You will not be leaving the realm of service if you choose to move on, for the nature of the universe is that all beings are aligned with the God will, the God presence, and all are doing service in their own ways. So if you do not choose to return to earth as an ascended master to do that service, there will be other service opportunities that you will choose from. So you see, all of your choices will be various service opportunities. It will be your heart's desire to serve at that point. It is the longing of all beings who are experiencing the God presence to share it in whatever way they feel appropriate. So this is one aspect of service, returning. Very important, but not the only one.
I have a question. I've been noticing that there's been a lot of emotional upheaval in the last few days, particularly in my life. What's that all about? Tears where people don't normally cry, and outrage, etc.
I believe that Jesus addressed this to quite an extent last week. There is an emotional clearing that is taking place. Emotions that have been stored within your emotional body. They could be from this lifetime, they could be from many lifetimes ago. It could be accumulated effect. But there are emotions that you have been carrying around in your emotional body which are too dense for you to take with you in your ascension. So they are leaving, and the only way that they can leave is through expression, or through release, through meditation. They can also be released that way, but nevertheless, in general, emotions are released and expressed or felt as they are being released. So you are being cleared a little bit. When they come to the surface, and you may not even understand what they are representing to you, simply know that they are leaving you. It is something that you have been carrying around within you, and there are certain ways and means that the world has and the masters have to press those buttons which will cause you to once again re-experience those and release them and be lighter. You need to lighten up if you are going to rise. So do not be overly concerned. You may feel, as I have said, sometimes that you are a little bit crazy. You may feel a little bit strange. Some of you have grown accustomed to being very together people, as the saying is. Very functional and very grounded and organized. Perhaps you will find a space of time where for some few hours or even some few days you feel totally at a loss to cope with reality. You are entering a new territory here. That is why, again, faith and trust and meditation, connection with your guides. If you can't connect with us, we can assist you in explaining, as I am doing somewhat now, to you so that you will have an understanding. You need not necessarily have an understanding in order to do the work, but it helps. Again, this is why it is important to continue to connect with one another and to share, for you will be going through processes, sometimes very intense ones, and it helps to have another who understands the process to share it with.
I have questions about. I get a feeling that the 20 years or so of dreaming and conceiving and researching of what I call the balance place or dancer's dream studio, and then later processing plants to serve us all. Maybe we started out thinking it was anti-stress and what we created here, but now I see a bigger picture. And I also got a flash that what I've really been doing is visiting your ships, and these are the insides of the ships that I'm wanting to recreate down here. I mean, that's my question is I've been getting all these ideas from your ships. Are they like, some of them like gyms and dance studios and whole brain sync rooms where we actually now get realigned? I mean, I just feel like all these visions I've been having and following these threads for many, many, many years are just coming into the dream state and work I've been doing on the other planes. Is there an association, or is that just what's been like the movie keeping us routine while we wait for the real stuff? I don't know, but I'm just really curious about how all this leads, because everything's coming together. And then I realize I may just be going to a ship and it's going to be all there, waiting, and I'm returning to places I've been. Not that I'm going to create them new on Earth. You get my question? It's kind of like multidimensional time warp here.
You ask very interesting questions.
I know.
I would say that the information you have received, or the inspirations and visions, are definitely inspired from your connections with the Ashtar Command and other spiritual entities. Yes, we do have gymnasiums, and all of that which you have seen, we have. And we do have quite extensive facilities for, I would put it into the area of health balancing. Mm-hmm. And we can do some work. In fact, we have even taken a few beings up etherically and done work upon them.
I like the holographic things that I want to, the environments that I feel would do so much healing work on humans right now. I have a feeling that's exactly what you're saying. We all have to go up into your ships and be, really overhauled dramatically. And I was thinking I was going to do them here, and maybe it's going to be after the pickup. It's something I'm just preparing for whether it's before or after. I feel the definite need to be involved in bringing these down there, or maybe I'll go up and learn how you bring people up during their sleep and accomplish it. But it's the 3D world that needs it the most, it seems to me.
The technologies that we have available to us will be brought to Earth after the Earth's cleansing, so that what you have been envisioning more or less will be available. It will be here, present on Earth. And in the meantime, it is available on the ships. So those who are lifted will have a great deal of work that can be done with them, whatever is required.
I'm really overjoyed with this. I'm so grateful.
There is a great deal of training, as we have said, with those of you who choose to return, those of you who choose the Ascension path. And there is some work that will have to be done with your bodies and your realignments, etc., and all of your training. So perhaps your training will involve this area. Perhaps this will be an area where you choose to do service.
I'm ready.
We shall see.
Yes.
I have a question.
Can you say something about the rainbow rays and the rainbow dance and how they function in our lives now and how we can utilize them to reach a higher frequency?
I think you will need to phrase your question in a language that the channel understands what you are talking about.
There's a hierarchy of rainbow beings, cosmic beings who are working with some of us now. Can you tell us anything about how we can utilize the rainbow ray in parts of our bodies to uplift our own frequencies, to let more light in? Do you know anything about that?
I would say that this is a more complex description of the work that we are already doing with you. You see, there are many beings who are connecting with you, many different levels of reality. And each one of these beings has a particular frequency, and this frequency can be said to express as a color, or as a feeling, or in other ways. And so, if you were to view the spectrum of beings that are working with you, various groups of beings, it could be said to represent a rainbow. I would say that it is not so important that you have an intellectual understanding of this, but if you feel this is important to you, you may pursue it, but know that in your work, in your simple meditations and preparations for ascension, all of this is being accomplished. You see, we have a great deal more going on with you than we can express in this way. We are simplifying this message so as to reach the most beings and to make it as simple and easy as possible, while we are using many high technologies and spiritual sciences, and this rainbow ray, of course, is one way of describing parts of the work that are being done, not only by us, but by the other angelic hierarchies, and as you know.
I've also heard that the Brotherhood has said that it's time now to gather the star seed and take them home. Can you say something more about this?
What do you think we have been addressing?
Well, I know, but is there something else? Yeah.
You will be gathered in the lifting and ascension process. You will be taken home, for your origins are quite diverse, you see. Many of you are from very different sections of the universes. You will return to your homes, or you choose to remain as an Earth Master for a time, but ultimately, after your work here is done, for the most part, you may have the opportunity to be taken home or to return to that home planet or home area that you emanated from, if you feel drawn to it or homesick for this particular manifestation. Some of you will feel more at home with the Earth after having been here for so long. But nevertheless, the universe will open its doors to you, and you will be able to travel through the universes, through the dimensions, experience the marvels of creation, and whatever level of evolvement you have achieved or attained, or whatever level of evolvement you have come from initially, you will be returned or have the ability to return to that aspect or that level of the cosmic evolvement hierarchy, shall I say. You will be able to become a little bit closer to the throne of the Creator than you are now.
I have a question. When you are channeling through a person and that person needs to ask you a question, would you automatically know that that person is asking you a question, or should the person say what the question is?
I would say, speak your mind. If you have a question, you are channeling, you are feeling the presence of Ashtar.
Yes.
Yes. We are enjoying your presence. You are doing well. Try not to doubt yourself so much. If you have a question, you may ask Duncan to ask you the question, or you may ask it yourself mentally. You see, you may say, Ashtar, what about this? And when are you going to lift us up anyway? try it and see if you get better answers than come through this channel, then please share with us. I think you will get the same response.
What does it take to get a spaceship over your house? Or is there any advantages or procedures by which we should want to have? You know, you said there's one over this house, and I don't know if that has anything to do with the continuation of the work. But I would sure like to be aware of going into even in dream state.
You may ask this channel or these two that are sitting here of their experiences of being lifted. They can share with you what it is like. It can be quite enjoyable. At the same time, it can feel quite natural. Nothing to write home about at times. I would say that if you are meant to be somewhat of a command center, as this place is, there will be a platform in place over that abode. It is a communication center. And the channel who is existing here, the channels who are here, are connecting more and more with the beings who are operating this platform. It is somewhat of a telepathic communications station. A stable platform, you might say. In another aspect, it could be said to be the Merkaba vehicle of the channel who is addressing you. So in effect, you have all Merkaba vehicles over you at all times.
I guess that was my question. Yeah. Thank you.
It is difficult to understand intellectually. I would not like to even attempt it at this time. Let it be an experience for you. The channel is perplexed himself about how to deal with this aspect of his connection with this particular ship and what it means to him and how it could be a part of himself. We are trying to explain it to him, though he is a little dense.
It would be fun. I'd like to continue.
Ask and you shall receive. This is part of the connection that we are asking you all to make. Connect with your guidance. The Ashtar Command has fully functional operators on duty 24 hours a day to take your calls. So please respond and develop yourselves in this way, and you too can have this wonderful experience of channeling or receiving messages.
I have a question. After ascending to the ship, if your decision is to go into the spirit world rather than return, what happens to your body? I didn't quite get that.
It is altered or rematerialized in a new form, let me say.
But you keep your body.
Well, it depends upon where you came from, you see.
Oh.
If you are heading towards a very high-dimensional state where there is only light and energy, then your body may be left aside or transformed to such an extent that it no longer looks like a body. There are different manifestations and different levels of awareness and achievement, you see. The physical body is, in one sense, the crown of creation, meant to be the most perfect manifestation of reflection of the God presence. As it is said that God created man in his own image, it is more true than you can know. Yet there are many, many different manifestations. There are many levels of bodies also. The third-dimensional body and the fifth-dimensional body look somewhat similar. But as you proceed up the ladder of consciousness, you will find that you take a great deal larger and more expanded a presence. I would say for you to wait and see. This will be explained to you if it is pertinent for you. You will know and be reacquainted with where you came from at the time of your lifting. Let it be sort of a surprise package for you. So you are finding out who you really are. And you will not find out truly who you are until your ascension. Then some of you will be quite surprised that you limited yourself to such a tiny package. You have all surrounded these great cosmic beings with limited beliefs to such an extent that you feel rather powerless or limited. When you ascend, you will feel quite a bit more powerful and expanded, and you will realize why it was difficult to maintain the third dimensional form.
Sorry.
Yes?
I have a question. Is there anything the dark forces can do to stop this?
Ultimately, no. If you were to fall under the sway of false teachings or doubt and fear, or all of the chaos that is present here on this world, in effect, you would be allowing the dark forces to affect you personally and your particular readiness or preparation for the ascension. Nevertheless, the ascension cannot be affected by them. They are attempting as best they can to keep a humanity in a state of confusion and fear.
I've noticed that.
So, if you fall into fear, know that you are perhaps being influenced by them, or undoubtedly you are being affected negatively from some way or other, and this is holding you back somewhat, but at the same time I would say that the fears will arise spontaneously also as a result of your taking this path, as you realize more and more what you are getting into. The part of you which is clings to third-dimensional reality, your egos and your inner children who wonder and feel insecure at times, may feel fear. This is a natural response, but if you do not indulge in it, I would say the dark forces will no longer be able to harm you. They are not fully aware of their own limitations.
I have a question. The term the Great White Brotherhood, does white refer to race, and does brotherhood refer to just males, or does it include males and females?
The Great White Brotherhood is a name to label all of the ascended masters. It is not a racial description. There are ascended masters of both sexes and of all colors. The Great White Brotherhood is a label used to describe the organization and the group of beings who have ascended. There is a great hierarchy, you see, and an organizational structure. It is somewhat of a fraternal or a service organization on a higher level of consciousness.
Rotary Club.
Yes, with a little bit more defined and a higher purpose. So it is a group that you will be joining soon.
Why have the Ascended Masters chosen not to manifest on the Earth Flame Accused channels at this stage?
As you say, it is at this stage, for the most part, that we are not manifesting. There will be a time, there have been times when we have manifested to a few individuals and who were ready and who had a particular purpose for this to happen. In general, this is your time to shine. And it is also an element of faith and trust that we have discussed. It is part of the opportunity that you have in coming here, in taking this ascension path, the opportunity to enhance your own growth by ascending, and it is involved with faith. So we have been given instructions that it is not time for us to manifest. Some of you have been calling on us to do so. We would like to. At certain times we may, but in general we are receiving our orders from on high. And it is for you to ascend and to return, and for you to be the ascended masters. If we were to all converge upon the earth at this time, it would create quite a stir, but at the same time it would rob you of your opportunity. So you see that, as we have discussed before, you are here not only to serve humanity, but to serve yourselves and to grow spiritually. So it is somewhat out of respect for the starseeds who have chosen to be here, out of respect for their process and for their path. We do not wish to rob them of the experience that we have had ourselves at an earlier time. Let me just say that God works in strange ways. Is this not a strange way to talk?
Yeah.
I've got a question. My father is 83 years old, and it seems like he's just about ready to leave the planet, but in the fourth ascension. So what happens to his soul?
All beings who have left their bodies and are in the intermediate state, let me say, awaiting new bodies, who are in the non-physical state, will attain to a level of evolvement or a level of experience based upon their particular evolvement. So whatever he has earned in his own lifetimes, he will be taken to that state. He may end up on another planet. He may end up as an ascended being if he is so ascended or so evolved. He may end up back upon the earth as one of the New Age children. It is solely dependent upon his level of evolvement. But all of the beings who are disembodied and not at present in physical forms will receive their just rewards.
Is this what is meant when the Bible talks about that all of the dead will come back again? That everybody will be going into a new life form?
Yes, this is somewhat the same. All of the beings who have been here, you see, since a soul in general does not die, and those souls who are in the astral belt, as I would refer to it, are waiting in their various heavens and hells, waiting for another incarnation. This will all be restructured. There will be no more need for a fourth dimension or an astral plane when the earth has attained to a fifth dimension. So there are very many opportunities, very many options for these beings, and it is difficult to enumerate them. All I will say to you is that those who have earned positive rewards will go to positive places, and those who have not will go to less evolved places where they can work out their karmas. None of the beings who are not worthy of ascension will remain upon the earth. Only those who have attained to a certain level of involvement will return to earth.
I have a question. Considering the sequence of waves of ascension, at which point would it be expected that the Christ would reappear?
Well, I myself do not begin to speak for him. I would say, in my opinion, it will be at the last stage in the final evacuation, if it occurs.
Before the final?
Yes, during.
Did you say if it occurs?
If it occurs, yes. He has free will also. He is a slippery rascal. When you get to know him personally, you may be finding your conceptions a little bit expanded. He has quite a sense of humor. He is what you might say the perfect manifestation of mankind, and also one with the divine. So it has been written that he will return, and if this prophecy is to hold true, then it would be at the final evacuation, the third wave. You see, that is one reason why it is an element of faith for all of you. You have not seen such miracles occurring physically. It is a test for you. It is a leap of faith. If you take the leap of faith, you will be rewarded for doing so.
I have another question concerning the leap of faith. I have been consumed with creating a new business that will help people find their right livelihood in the employment industry. And it seems like it's very much a leap of faith because it doesn't feel like it's got a whole lot of groundedness to it. And yet I can't get it out of my mind. I feel like it's being channeled into me.
Sounds good so far.
how do I physically manifest it without the real, this earth plane criteria of having money and that stuff?
Well, you will need that stuff.
Yes.
Mm.
So, that's
You are in a realm that is somewhat out of my field of experience. I am not much of a businessman.
I'm not either.
Let me say that where there is a will, there is a way. And if you feel strongly motivated to do this, ask for guidance, ask for what you need. If you feel you need money, ask for it, do affirmations, and ask that you be connected with other beings who have the necessary ingredients that you do not have. Ask that you be connected with those, and if you can open yourself up and find your guidance, find yourself being moved from your current situation to a new connection or connections, then you can manifest this. You may need some assistance from others to do so. Perhaps a millionaire would be helpful at this time.
I'm having lunch with one next Wednesday.
I would say it is a matter of you expressing your enthusiasm and your clarity about this, and expressing the benefits of it. There is definitely a need for this, and if you can do it in a way that you are not overly attached or overly struggling, if it will not detract from your inner peace or joy, then go ahead and go for it. I will not give you any direct guidance as to how to proceed. I will only make matters worse, I am afraid.
Thank you.
I have my hands full at the present.
Those ships, I agree.
My responsibilities are very broad, and yet a simple task such as the beginning of business here on earth would confuse me. This is where your own intuition and guidance comes in. This is where your own empowerment and your own assuming of your own power will take precedence over guidance from me. Common sense also. Practicality. Timing. When the time is right, it will occur. So I will take one or two more questions, but it is getting time for us to meditate a little bit, and perhaps the tape will run out on you.
I have a question. What's the difference in criteria between our ascension and past ascension?
You have it much easier.
Oh?
Those beings who have ascended prior to you, the ascended masters who have gone through the earth school and ascended, have had to develop extreme focus, extreme sacrifice or surrender, have had to apply themselves many years, many lifetimes of meditation to achieve the ascension, have had to exhibit levels of faith and trust beyond which that which you will have to manifest. They have had to pass through much more stringent a course of training, because the time was not ripe for this mass ascension, as you see. The door was not quite so open, so they had to force matters a little bit by their own power and will, and by calling continually for grace and assistance. Fortunately for them, those who have succeeded in doing so were rewarded, and many of them are speaking to you through this channel and others now. So know that the door is more open. The cosmic timing and the cosmic grace is flowing more now, so that it is more important now to simply be of unconditional love and applying yourselves sincerely. You do not need to master all of the duality of life. You do not need to conquer and have self-mastery over all of your emotions. This is a very intense path.
I have a question. You mentioned the New Age babies. So considering we have a limited amount of time now, what is the role of these babies? What's their lifespan, and what is their consciousness level? All the babies that are coming to the families now.
Well, a great deal of the births that are taking place now are very evolved beings who are coming here to lend their support, knowing that they will not be here long, knowing that they will be lifted in the ascension waves, but they are making a somewhat of a sacrifice in manifesting in physical form in this sphere to assist with the critical balance, the critical mass, or the simply adding to the love energy that is here. So many of the beings, a great deal of the beings who are being born now are star-seeded children.
When you say a great deal of them are, does that mean that some aren't?
Yes, there are some who are not. A few.
What's the distinction?
The distinction is that in order to be a starseed baby, you have to have been an ascended being already, and then take a third-dimensional body. A regular being need only have a normal course of evolution and need not have progressed beyond the fourth dimension.
So one may be still involved with karmic cycle and one may not. And that's the starseed that may not be.
Yes.
If we are starseed, does that mean we've ascended before?
You're getting the picture.
Or does that mean we're at 1 point something between 1 and 2? This is commonly used as if there's a, I think Jesus was 4 when he was on here, according to some calculations. Alice Bailey.
On the point.
She speaks about the different initiations.
Yes, on the initiatory path that was given through
It says that here, really is.
the channels that we've only had up till now.
Your numerological classifications elude me.
Now let's, again,
I do not indulge in classifications of this
I
nature.
know, I don't like the
It is, I would say it is not something that you need to encourage yourself to be involved with. It is another way of limiting and labeling. Know that if you are starseeds, it is an indication that you were ascended beings or angelic beings, highly evolved beings who were ascended and chose to come here and take on third-dimensional reality. These bodies, all the other bodies you have had. So you are, in your ascension, reascending. While those who have not been ascended beings, those who are of the normal human species, will be ascending, if they do so, for the first time. So you will be reacquainted with who you were and who you have grown to be.
So I get a new meaning of remembering is the remembering of our etheric body. Kind of, it's like remembering another state.
Yes, your higher bodies will be joined once again with you.
That's as the members, we refer to these as members of our body, but remembering.
It is somewhat the expression getting yourselves together. You have higher selves that need to be gotten together with your other selves, you see. So your light bodies are waiting for you. Those beings who have not been ascended do not have light bodies as of yet. Their light bodies will be created upon their lifting if they are qualified and attain to that.
If they are qualified, that's through love.
Yes, that is the main criterion. For the final evacuation, it is love and openness to God and a willingness to release fear and limitations and negative emotions. Mainly fear.
So is it that your etheric body is a different thing than your light body?
They are close, but not exactly.
So do our light bodies dwell within us as well as somewhere else, the multidimensional world?
They are dwelling multidimensionally. That is why you have to call them down in your meditations and feel them re-merging with you, feel them surrounding you and, let me say, altering your atomic structure. That is the meditation that you experienced last week, the aspect of calling down the light pyramid. This is a way of representing your light body. So there are your light vehicles, your Merkaba vehicles are waiting for you to reconnect with and to reacquaint yourself with their use so that you also can travel throughout the universe. So I think it is time for us to focus a little bit. Know that your unanswered questions will be answered. And I think we have answered all that you need to know in order to ascend. We cannot satisfy all of your curiosity, for your mental capacity is not capable of understanding fully until you have the experience. This is not an insult to your intelligence, it is only a reflection of your predicament.
Very well said.
So let us meditate a little bit together. Simply focus upon your breath, and if you feel inspired, call your light body to surround you with its presence. We will do a short meditation as it is getting late. Hello. This is Jesus. It seems that you need some calming down this evening. You are all very lively. I am coming through simply to congratulate you on passing this course. You have all received passing marks from me. Your diplomas will not be handed out until later on. I think you know what I mean. You will have to rise to a little bit higher level to receive them. I come only to share my love for a moment, to tell you how much I love all of you, to encourage you to continue with your ascension work, with your processes. Love one another, share with one another. Call upon me, call upon Ashtar, Archangel Michael, any of the ascended masters that you are working with, or the angelic host. This work that you are doing now is extremely important. It is extremely important for yourselves. It is extremely important for this planet. So continue and enjoy yourselves. I have been honored to bring you this field of study, to put together this course for you. And whatever you can do to share this information in a clear and loving way with those who are open, again, I will encourage you to do so. You have faculties and facilities to do this that we have not. You can dial telephones and this sort of thing, write letters. This is all important work. But above all, love yourselves. Nurture yourselves. Honor yourselves. Do not criticize or judge yourselves anymore. You may stop doing that right now. I give you my permission. I would make it in order, except you have free will. Enjoy yourselves. I will hope to be connecting with each of you in your meditation.